Mr. Hermann Einstein, Mrs. Pauline Einstein, here is your little baby, Albert Einstein. Hey Einsteins, long time no see. Here is another delivery. Her name is Maria Maya Einstein. Quick, let's play a game. It's called Spot the Oktoberfest during the night. You have 2 seconds. Did you spot it? It's right here. Of course, it's all dark because they didn't have lights yet. Then Hermann Einstein told everybody. Alright, meine company has this new thing called DC lights and wir kann illuminate das Oktoberfest. Everybody in Munich. Was? Wir kann turn Nacht zu Tag during the Oktoberfest. You want that or not? And everybody in Munich were like, sag no more. And thus the Oktoberfest got lit. Mama, witness der Kompass. Despite me revolving das device, the needle inevitably seems to shift towards the north pole of your primitive planet you call Earth. Aren't you mind blown? He was a complete failure at school. At 16, Einstein mastered calculus. Dude, there is this new book called Naturwissenschaftliche Volksbücher that talks about riding alongside electricity. After hearing that, Einstein wondered, what shall a light beam look like if one was to Naruto run alongside it? Then his parents left for Zurich. Alone, miserable and repelled by the looming prospect of military duty, Einstein ran away 6 months later and landed on the doorstep of his surprised parents. At this point, Einstein is basically a school dropout and draft dodger with no employable skills, just like you. But he was also a master of mathematics and physics with a dream to understand the theory of everything, just unlike you. Mein Sohn, you may apply for the Eidgenössische Polytechnische Schule in Zürich. Next few years were actually happy years and he met Mileva Maric, his future wife. 9. You can't marry that Serbian girl. She's an Eastern Orthodox Christian, and you know how we feel about Christians that are different from us. Let's play a game of guess what happened next. A. He respected mom's wish and didn't marry Mileva, or B. He opposed mom's wish and married Mileva. If you thought B, he opposed mom's wish and married Mileva, then you'd be wrong. He didn't marry Mileva, but since mom said nothing about babies, they had one. What a nice guy. Albert and Mileva had a stork bring them a daughter, Liesl, whose fate is unknown. She probably sadly died of a scarlet fever. At this time, Einstein had no job or money to support the family. Mein Sohn, mein business went bankrupt und ich kann nicht keep providing for you. Stop being useless and find the Arbeit. Einstein finally got a decent job at the Swiss patent office, but just then his father became terminally ill and died. Upon death he spoke, Mein Sohn, do not let your uselessness stop you from enjoying life. You have my blessing to marry that Serbian girl. He married Mileva and they ordered 2 more sons, Hans Albert and Edward. One day Einstein was riding on the bus and saw a big clock. He imagined bus going away from the clock at the speed of light. Light waves couldn't catch up with the bus, so from the bus the clock seemed frozen in time. This sparks the birth of Einstein's special theory of relativity, which says the faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. Therefore space and time are one same thing called space-time. We solved almost everything when it comes to physics. Here are top 10 facts you didn't know existed. He published 4 papers that talk about how nobody knows anything about the universe. This one in particular contains the formula, E equals mc squared, which says you can turn mass into energy and energy into mass. Overnight, Einstein went from a random office type of guy to a director of the University of Berlin type of guy. He was all famous and happy. Who wasn't all famous and happy was his wife, Mileva, who's been left with children with no financial or parental support. Albert, please help me raise our 2 sons. Albert secretly thinking, alright, now's the best time to ditch her. And thus he began an affair with Elsa Löwenthal. Elsa's mother and Einstein's mother were sisters. She was a first cousin on his mother's side, but also a second cousin on his father's side. Though Einstein was kinda sorta not really sorry for Mileva, so he told her, if I ever happen to win a Nobel Prize, I shall give you the money. He literally staked his children's future on winning the Nobel Prize. Way to go, man. Ah, Albert, euros mean nothing if you are not with me. And that left Einstein with one devastating thought. He never discovered anything about gravity or acceleration. After a lot of trial and error, he discovered that the gravity is actually a consequence of celestial bodies bending space and time around themselves. There is no such thing as gravity, it's just that stars and planets curve space towards themselves. Then how did Newton prove the gravitational pull? Alright, how do I show these bonobos that gravitational pull doesn't exist? Let's see. Light beam can only be straight. It cannot bend. But if it was shot through a bent space, light beam would appear to bend. Starlight should bend around the sun. The only issue is we can't see it because the sun is too bright. But if we do it during a total eclipse, just then humanity decided they didn't kill each other in a while, so World War I kicked off. His science friends started using science to make inhumane weapons of mass destruction. This guy was one of Einstein's best friends. He stood on the battlefield and watched thousands of Belgian soldiers being suffocated by his newly invented chlorine gas. Disgust. Einstein called nationalism the measles of mankind. He wrote, "At such a time as this, one realizes what a sorry species of animals one belongs to," which I completely agree with. At November 1915 he finally finishes his masterpiece, the one and only general theory of relativity. Einstein was invited to give a few lectures on relativity at the University of Göttingen, where he met one of the greatest mathematicians of all time, David Hilbert. Yo, Einstein, big fan! Can ich see your calculations on the theory? Yeah, but it has few mathematical details I did not solve yet. Kein Problem, my friend. Ich kann dir damit helfen. Now I'll teach you the secret technique that's been tested and proven all throughout the history. If you see a scientist is about to invent something big, just offer help or money so he shows you the invention, then patent it before him and there you go. Hilbert then solved the details and submitted the theory as his own. Guys, check out my new discovery. I call it das general theory of a relative activity. Isn't this what that Einstein dude talked about a few days ago? What Einstein? Never heard of such name. This is an intellectual theft, call the police. What? Guys, I swear it's just a prank, bro. At this point, Einstein also solved mathematical problems and submitted his theory. Now remember when I said Einstein was a German who didn't like war? Well, this guy from England thought the same. Dude, check out this guy's general theory of relativity. Pal, this is like the best discovery since Newton. I shall photograph a solar eclipse and prove their relativity, thus showing everybody that an Englishman can stand up for a German. Now try to keep up. Eddington couldn't leave Britain due to war. Luckily, he had a friend in California, and total solar eclipse would occur in Washington. Campbell's goal is to photograph stars that emerge when the sun is covered by the moon. On the day of the eclipse, clouds covered the sky. But then, just as the eclipse began, the clouds scattered and Campbell started taking photos of the eclipse. Einstein has predicted that the warp space around the sun will create an optical illusion, making the stars appear to move outward. Campbell and his colleague analyzed the photos, and all stars appear exactly at the spot they should be on. Nothing is moved, but neither Campbell nor Eddington are gonna give up that easily. You see, due to war issues, Campbell had to use some improvised and imprecise equipment. Eddington is going to Africa to photograph the next solar eclipse. But also in California, Campbell just doesn't want to accept no as an answer. He examines photos over and over again, but each time it appears that Einstein's relativity is wrong. Eddington travels for 10 weeks through the sea and finally arrives on the shores of the Principe. There are a bunch of poisonous snakes and malaria mosquitoes. They have to hack their way through the jungle and spend a month building a telescope in the middle of nowhere. The day of the eclipse. Once again, clouds cover the sky. Eddington is crushed, but suddenly, a gap in the clouds. He sees a black moon. The race begins. He's putting in plate after plate to get as many photos as possible. After the eclipse, he realizes he didn't take the lens cap off. Just kidding. But there was another problem. Most of the images were rendered useless due to clouds obscuring all the stars. But few photos were good. Campbell came to London while Eddington came to Cambridge. Campbell announced his results. Einstein is wrong. But the session takes a dramatic turn with the reading of Eddington's preliminary results that show that Einstein was right, although Eddington had more calculations to do. But here we have the special meeting of Royal Astronomical Society, everybody is watching. Campbell says Einstein is wrong, Eddington says, we don't know yet, but it seems like Einstein might be right. 4 months later Eddington comes to London. Many astronomers from all around England were shoving their way through the crowd to see the results. Eddington starts the meeting by pointing at the big portrait of Isaac Newton, the founder of the Royal Astronomical Society, and says, "Forgive us, Sir Isaac, your universe has been overturned. Deflection of starlight predicted by Einstein's general theory of relativity is verified by the eclipse observation." This produced a perfect clickbait for newspapers. Revolution in science, new theory of the universe, Newton's ideas overthrown, momentous pronouncement, space warped. But it was shortly after the war. The Allies were still hostile to Germans. New York Times started questioning Einstein's relativity. Few weekly photos were not enough to prove everything we know about the universe is wrong. And why were they two different results from two different astronomists? Einstein, underrated or overrated? This had a high personal stakes for both Einstein and Campbell's international reputation. So Campbell decided to attend the next solar eclipse and end it once and for all. It will happen in Australia in 1922. Alongside Campbell, 4 expeditions were sent from Britain, Germany, India, Canada and 2 from Australia. The British and German got clouded out. One of the Australians couldn't get any data due to equipment problems. India had a beautiful sky but had technical difficulties, so they got nothing. Campbell is now prepared much better. He gets perfect results. It shows 92 stars missed position just as relativity predicted. They nailed it. And who was the first person that Campbell sent the results to? It was Albert Einstein. He wanted Einstein to know, boy did we vindicate you. This was a huge personal victory for both Campbell and Einstein. Right then Einstein gets Nobel Prize, but check this out. Not because of relativity, but because of this random photoelectric effect, which proved to be the foundation of quantum mechanics and unlocked the secrets of the atom. As he promised, he gave the money to his former wife. Then he makes like the whole new science of cosmology. When are you gonna make a whole new science? Literally never. When these boys rose to power, they gathered a bunch of other smart scientists. Yo Einstein, we just published 100 authors against Einstein. Now your physics is incorrect. You're not only wrong, you're stupid. Einstein fled to this lit new science place in Princeton, New Jersey. Then his son got diagnosed with schizophrenia, his friend killed himself, and his wife Elsa died. US scientists. Remember that formula E equals mc squared? We should do something with it. How about we use it to gain unlimited renewable energy that will support human race for millennials to come? Wait, how about we use it to make a bomb that can obliterate the whole city instantaneously? Alright, everybody for infinite renewable energy. Everybody for a bomb that makes cities vanish. Then it's decided. These 4 guys managed to split uranium atom and release insane amount of energy. Bro, we totally have to show this to President Roosevelt. I'm concerned about the destructive power. Oh, don't worry, I'll write the letter and you'll just sign. Alright. Listen people, we need to build this new super weapon. Pack your things, we live in a dawn. But there is only one issue though. I still didn't think of a name for this project. How about Manhattan Project? Nah. How about Manhattan Project? War ended and Einstein returned to his general theory of relativity. He discovered wormholes, higher dimensions, the possibility of time travel to the future, black holes and the Big Bang. Niels Bohr. Dude, have you heard of quantum physics yet? It says it's impossible to predict state of an atom and subatomic particles. Bro, you know I love you as my own brother, but subatomic particles also have laws and their behavior can be predicted with calculations. Nah, bro. No matter how accurate your laws and calculations, you cannot predict the state of a particle. Alright, whatever. Now's the time for me to merge all theories together into one unified theory of the universe. Then his artery popped and he died. But wait, now's the best part. So this guy is like, alright, we have to take his brain out and examine it. What? Dude, this is our only chance to see what makes a genius. Einstein's brain wasn't bigger, but it had different architecture. Oh my gosh, what kind of mayonnaise was that? I loved it. Wait, you mean mayonnaise in the mayonnaise jar? Yeah. Dude, those were pieces of Einstein's brain. Is what could have happened because this guy thought keeping Einstein's brain in a mayonnaise jar was a good idea. Today you can find pieces of Einstein's brain in the Muta Museum. Hope you enjoyed the video, comment below, I read and answer all the comments. Until the next time, stay awesome.